and hello, amigo friends. I'm Max Headroom, your digital tutorial guide for this Spanglish for Dummies instructional CD-ROM. Now, although Spanglish is the mixing of Spanish and English in one quick, convenient language, it is sometimes hard to understand if not used correctly. Spanglish for Dummies will get you on the fast track to the correct usage of such verbs as parquear, to park, yo parqueo, tú parqueas, él, ella parquea, ellos parquean, nosotros parqueamos, vosotros parquéis. You're doing great. Now, let's take a trip to La Marqueta. La Myrna and La Cassandra and me went to La Marqueta to buy grocerías. We clipped los cupones, we took off our chanclas, got in El 84 Impala, and checked our lista. We had to buy cigarros and machismos for Tío Tico, who likes to fumar, and los double stop Oreos para el gordo Cris. We had un fun dia at La Marqueta. So, welcome to the wonderful world of Spanglish. If you have any further questions about Spanglish for Dummies, stay tuned because Cris Franco will be exploring the pros and contras of Spanglish on the next Café California. Be sure to watch it. Yo watcho, tú watchas, ella watchea, ellos watchean. ¿Qué tal? Muy buenos días. I'm Cris Franco y soy muy franco. You're watching Café California, and today's topic is Spanglish. Sí, señor. And to help us explore this ever-growing practice of freely mixing English and Spanish like it was huevos con chorizo are these linguistically gifted guests, the first of whom is Silvina Rubinstein, a true official expert on Spanglish since she's a bilingual teacher and a resident of Montebello. For over 20 years, she's been an advocate for quality education in both languages and feels that some Spanish requires a sophisticated level of bilingualism. Please welcome Silvina Rubinstein. The name alone is pretty bilingual. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
We have Josefina Aguilar. She is the owner of Espresso Mi Cultura Books and Coffee in Hollywood. It's just on the street here. And it's a great place for Mexican artists, Argentine poets, and Colombian beans, right? No uvas, pero cafeína sí. She recently received the Visionary Award from the National Latina Alliance, and that's a real award, not just the cast of Luminaria saying thanks for the latte, right? Josie says that Spanglish is a part of our identity and self-expression, and there's nothing wrong with it. Please welcome Josefina Aguilar. Thank you for being here. The coffee's very good at your place, too.
Thank you.
Next, we got Luis Vega. He was formerly a television producer. He is now a Spanish educator who teaches pochos, like me and others, how to speak Español perfectamente. This is the fourth time on Café California. He's my co-star. Welcome back, Luis Vega.
Thank you. Royalties, I want.
Finally, we've got Michael Morales. He got a journalism degree from the University of Chile. And is it true that Chileño thinks they speak the best Spanish?
No, we don't.
You know, it's Argentines, right?
No. Colombians are the best ones to speak Castellano in South America.
Oh,
And by the way, Chris, Chuy from La Puente is not my cousin. Okay.
Okay, might be my cousin. He has been a commentator for Fox Sports International, an interpreter for CNN International News, a correspondent for The Voice of America, and now he's here on Café California. Michael thinks that Spanglish isn't a language. It's not even a dialect, so it's not even appropriate. Please welcome Michael Morales. Thank you all for being here. The topic is that the increased interfacing of Spanish and English speakers has created Spanglish, a hybrid dialect borrowing grammar, vocabulary, and syntax from both languages. A Spanglish speaker can be heard saying stuff like llámame pa' atrás, which literally means call me in reverse instead of call me back, and stuff like la Mónica está out en la yarda, which means Monica's out in the yard, sort of. So, first question, is Spanglish linguistically natural, a valid new language that's evolving, or does it represent a bastardization and making machaca of two beautiful languages?
Making machaca. I think that one of the problems that I have with Spanglish, I mean, it's great that people
just one
express themselves, but we don't want to create like our own version of the Tower of Babel, which is that story in the Bible in which, you know, people spoke so many languages that they couldn't really build anything lasting.
But you know what? When you get Chicanos together and you begin mixing language, people know what people are saying.
Exactly, but we're excluding a lot of people that do not come from our background. And I think that one of the purposes of language is to communicate, to unite.
I think
Lady, do you think that diminishes a language?
I absolutely agree with your point. That's why Spanglish needs to be acknowledged, because it's a means of communication.
No.
It
I think we're
something-
misconfusing. The issue is here. Spanglish as an aberration of a language being
Aberration.
composed by the first
You're starting to
syllable
sound
of
like
one
Dr.
language
Laura.
and the first syllable of the second language.
Be careful.
Really, what we're talking about is a differentiation in what it is caló, which is the official underworld barrio language for Chicanos, you know, and Spanglish, which is something else. Also, even Chileans, you know, they have their own dictionary on how to speak in the barrios. Believe it or not, it is still Spanish, it's still Castellano, but there are some expressions
so it's a
that
dialect
they're
or a
not,
slang?
Well,
not an
well,
idiom.
basically, you know, there's a very famous linguist, Weinrich, and he said that the difference between a
Weinrich.
dialect and a language is just that a language has a navy and an army. An official language is anything that people agree that it's the tools that we're going to use to communicate.
A lot of Chicanos went to Vietnam.
Exactly. I'm not saying that.
So it's got an army.
By the way, not only Chicanos speak Spanglish. Spanglish.
Yeah, it's a vernacular of the Southwest.
Exactly,
It's
and we don't have an issue
particular
with
to the
that. It's just that
Southwest.
the issue is not class, the issue is
No.
not race,
No.
the issue might be education. I mean, we send
Exactly.
children to
I
school.
want to hear from the ladies here.
Dígame, Silvina.
I don't think necessarily it's education. I would like to get back to a point that you made, that unless if it's not among Chicanos, others feel excluded. I'm not Chicana, I don't feel excluded.
Well, no, you
You
don't.
know, I
feel-
can go and say, well, because it's my comadre's birthday and we're going to go and have huevos con chorizos.
No,
Okay?
claro,
I'm
claro.
not Chicana and I can say it anyway. I don't think it's an issue as education. It might be an issue of formal education versus
Well,
a language that's being
well,
developed and continues to be developed.
I-
And I think it's beyond the point whether it is a language or dialogue. I
But-
think we have to acknowledge it because it does exist.
I wanna-
and languages
Exactly.
do change.
I want to say something. You know, in television, in Hollywood, you can say stuff like, oh, it's so kitsch, which is Yiddish.
Yeah,
You can
chutzpah.
say chutzpah, all these words that people don't question your English. How about if this is just the natural evolution, and that now a lot of words are going to be incorporated into English, and this is just the beginning of standard American in inheriting the Latino flavor.
Well, the problem here is that the media has to be held responsible, and I'm talking about specifically about the Latino media. There's several people in media
Of which
today.
I am a part.
Several people in media today, whether it be Channel 62, 22, 34, and the others, that they're not qualified to be on writing, on
See.
interpreting.
Yeah.
So what the
I'm
people
sorry, in
get
Spanish or in English?
from English into Spanish.
See.
So what people get as normal
He's
audience.
attacking us, folks.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Quite the contrary. The reason that I'm here is because I want to express that we're not against Spanglish, but I think that it should not be recognized as an official idiom or slang.
Ladies, does he come
because
across
it
as a
belongs-
snob?
No,
Is he a
no,
snob?
I
One of the
think
Spanish
if you're
snobs?
saying you're not against Spanglish, what are you doing on the show on the
no,
other side of the
We're
argument?
on
We're
this
saying-
side. We're on this side of the
Then we're not
set
disagreeing in any
because we're
way.
not against Spanglish. Obviously, we're not against
Then what are
empowering
you
people.
Michael's just saying it's not a language.
So
It's
what?
not.
I'm not saying it's a language either. I'm not saying it's a language. I'm not saying it's a dialect. I'm not saying it's anything.
So what is it?
It's-
So
what is it?
It
saying
is
then?
simply a means of communicating.
a disparate.
Whether
But
I mean,
it's
no one. I
not.
don't think anybody
when
is
when a
saying-
farm worker goes
when a
back to
person
Mexico,
uses it to
Central America, and he says, fíjate que yo tenía un troque y fui a la marqueta
They're
y me pusieron un
communicating.
tiquete,
They
and the
understand
rest
each
of the
other.
family
They're
tells him, oh,
communicating.
how good you speak English, Manuel.
Well, it's already happening.
That is not English.
It's
What?
already happening.
That is not a Spanish.
And you know what? I think maybe if we compare this to what's happening even in English, or if we're going to look just at Spanish, with the impact of technology in our language. You know, how many times it says, well, vamos a decir que estamos hablando en español. Ahí te mando un email. We don't use un correo electrónico, una nota
But we should.
electrónica.
See, I know.
should not.
I want
Oh,
I
you
want
think
to
we
make
should?
a point.
Yes.
Okay, wait a minute. I want to talk about this, Michael.
We say Kleenex.
Okay, you know
Ahí
that
está.
in France, there's a society for the preservation of
Yes,
French.
yes.
Quieren
Yes.
preservar su
Preservarse.
lenguaje. They don't want English incorporated.
See,
and Silvina's saying
Yes.
that it's going to happen. We already say el mall, un top,
sí,
el carro, ya pasó.
There's a misconception. There's a misconception because all languages have an influence on other languages. You know, British English was influenced by French, triple English. American English changed. You know, the spelling of American English is the same spelling that we use in Spanish. We have Spanish words in English, and we have English words